Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paripracharya Stotra to Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parikracharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samavita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutara Shrimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Dinamane Namaste Krishna Padaya Padasharatmane Shri Guru Kana Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Namane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Paschatha Deshadarane. If I could ask the men to come a little bit closer. The women are good. Just a little bit. It's a very big oasis between where I'm sitting and where we're at. The closer we are, we'll feel more cozy in this 20-degree weather outside. Firstly, I want to welcome everyone to our to our evening Sunday program. We are in the third verse of the prayers of Lord Chaitanya. As we know that Lord Chaitanya left 8 verses. He only wrote 8 powerful verses of the Śikṣāṣṭakam. And we're in the third verse, and we like to do this every year before Guru Purnima to set our mindset. I would like to welcome my god brother, Ajamil Das. Him and I go back way. Actually, him and I met even before I met my husband, believe it or not. So thank you, Prabhu, for coming, and thank you for helping with the audiovisual. So, and if anyone would like to get to know him, he's a really fun guy. Yeah, you are. And so I want to welcome you, and thank you for visiting us. Really appreciate that. And Kevin from York. We've been going back and forth, and I was just checking my emails. You must be the same Kevin that met Bhaktitirtha Swami. That's my god brother. He met Gurudev in the 90s. So we're happy that you came, and we'll connect more, definitely. Thank you. So today we are covering the third verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam. It's one of my favorite verses because it's one of the most difficult. That's why it's my favorite. You know, we will always train in Krishna consciousness that what is the most difficult should be our favorite. That's the only way we can take the instructions of our acharyas and grow from it. And today's class, each and every point that I will be sharing with all of you is completely from my spiritual master's book, Reflections on Śikṣāṣṭakam. And he really wrote a wonderful book. If anyone is interested, please do see Parikshit. He's the one that has it, my husband. Ajamal, I don't know if you have a recording of it, but definitely would like to share this. It's a wonderful verse. So I'll read the Sanskrit and go into the English translation. Trinarapi sunechena taruapi taruaviva hasnuna amanina manadena kirtanaya sadahari. It's not very common nowadays, but in the old ISKCON days, I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago, when Ajamal and I joined. And prior to that, every morning after Mangal Arati, before we start our japa, our chanting, we read and recite the 8 verses every single morning. And why do we do that? To remind us the power of chanting of the holy name. And of all the 8 verses, even though all the 8 are very powerful, the third is the most powerful because that is on our Tulsi neck bead when we tie it around our necks. It's really, really powerful. So the English of that is one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So this third verse of the Śikṣāṣṭakam focuses on the procedure and the consciousness required for chanting. That is the reason why it's the third but the most important of all the 8. Now that doesn't mean that we minimize the other 7, but this is the most important because this verse teaches us the proper consciousness of how we should chant, because it emphasizes on humility and tolerance, something that we fight with every single day. We live in a culture, we live in a country, we live in a world, forget the country, because every country in this world is bombarded with some kind of craziness. But we live in a material society where it doesn't teach us how to be tolerant. It doesn't teach us how to be humble. It teaches us one thing: what's in it for me? How can I get what I want? What do I do? What do I have to do to get what I want? How do I manipulate to get what I want? How do I exploit to get what I want? That's the world we live in. It's all about I, me, mine. Everything we do, wherever we go, it's all about, I need something from me. What can I get from it? But that's the society we live in. We live in a very competitive society. So much so that the competition comes to the point where we have to destroy someone else for us to succeed. How sad is that? Right? I was talking to one devotee a week or two ago. Many years ago in my company, I still work for the company, almost 13, 14 years, but when I was working for the company, but few years ago, my CEO offered me a higher position, the same place where I work. And they were going to double my salary. Ching ching, right? Double? I mean, if I would be the biggest fool not to say yes. I am actually. And it was very enticing. It was very enticing. Insurance is covered, double the salary, right? And then you get all the amenities, then you have your own office. I think he was the director of something or whatever. I went home and I said to myself, that means it comes with more problems. Do I need that? I said, you know what? I'm not fighting with any crazy people out there, because that's what it means. The higher the position, the more problems we face. We have to fight with each other to climb. If you imagine a ladder, right? Everybody's trying to climb, and then you see people climbing in one person and climbing in another person just to get to the top, and some will fall down and they keep climbing. That's a crazy world to live in. So I just told him no. He says, you're crazy. I said, I know I'm crazy. Because I don't want to get myself in that mess. But that is the world we live in. Competition. How can I exploit someone? How can I put someone down so that I win? Now, is that conducive to spiritual life? No, it's not. And sometimes we think, oh, but I can just do that in the material world, but but when I come to the temple, I'll be fine. No. For example, if we are not a smoker and we hang out with smokers, we are going to become smoker by association, right? If we're not a drinker, we hang out with drinkers, we're going to be lured into drinking by association. That is the world we live in. So we can say, oh, but I can do that, be this and that out in the material world, but when I come with you guys, I think I'll be humble. No. That's when Maya says, okay, let me have a field day with this guy. I'm going to throw a wrench at him. Let me see how he handles it. No, it doesn't work that way. Competition, manipulation, exploitation, all that crazy stuff we see in the material world, it goes ill, I-L-L, it goes ill with Krishna consciousness. It goes ill with any spiritual life. It just doesn't go together. And if we want to get the taste of chanting the holy name and get a deeper experience, we have to access humility with tolerance. Very difficult thing. It's a very simple word, but it's a very difficult thing. I'm still learning after 30 years. It's not easy. Because, one is we work, we face different issues, with co-workers, with neighbors, with friends, with devotees. We face so many issues, and we have to deal with how to be tolerant, how to be humble. Because we are put in a situation, we're in a difficult situation, where it's all about me. How can I get what I want to get? How can I manipulate what I want? How can I exploit what I want? Because we live in a competitive society. And what do I have to do to bring that person down so I win? That's the crazy world out there. But that's a test for us to see how can we overcome those obstacles, no matter how tough it is out there, and still be humble and tolerant. That is one of the main reasons why Srila Prabhupada built temples and created temples. He brought this knowledge from India, came all the way to the West to give us this knowledge. He established temples to help us to learn the tools of how to not depend on the material crazy society out there and still be humble in our spiritual life. And not in the spiritual life, even in the material world. Like, how can we still be sane? How can we still be humble and tolerant while we're going to school, going to college, going to work, going for this? How do we maintain that? We come here and learn those tools, because the material world is not going to teach us that. They'll only teach us how to beat up to get what we want. It's not going to teach us how to be humble. So the next question is, what is humility? So in order for us to learn what is humility, let's have a quick pop quiz. It's a yes or a no, very, very, very simple. Does humility mean lack of self-esteem? Does humility mean, I am tolerant, you're not, so I'm humble? Arjun knows exactly what I'm talking about, right, Arjun? Does humility means blind faith? No. Does humility mean weak and being a blind follower? No. Does humility mean be foolish, be stupid, be docile, and be a doormat? But do we act that way? See, we know it, but we don't act it. It's because we haven't learned what is real humility. We know it's not all that, but we haven't learned what is real humility. So why is it that we haven't learned it? Because there is some block, there's some obstacle that is hindering us from developing humility. There is some obstacle that is blocking us from understanding and learning what is humility. See, because I think there's this, like we are book smart but not street smart when it comes to humility. Like we know the knowledge, the theory of it, right? We got it down. But when it comes to practicing, it's in here, out into the air. We haven't gotten it because there's some obstacle that's blocking us from developing the understanding of humility. So let's quickly go through the list and see what is that obstacle. Number one, false pride. I am this, I am that, I am this, bragging about oneself, one's self-importance, and they want to be the center of attraction. Self-centeredness. False pride. That is one obstacle in developing humility. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And sometimes, and I've heard this, we say it and we don't catch ourselves. I know it, I got it. We say it and we don't catch ourselves. But that is, and the more we say it, it becomes a mantra. Next thing you know, that mantra becomes bigger than the Maha Mantra. Self-pride. Second obstacle. I am this, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm African, I'm white, I'm black, I'm an engineer, I'm a lawyer, I'm an IT. It's the false ego. The designation. And, you know, that is one of the biggest challenges is false ego. It's all about I, me, man. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. It's, you know, and sometimes that becomes so much part of our being that we forget. Come on. Who gave us the knowledge to even become a doctor? Did we just one day woke up and said, ooh, I got this knowledge, I'm going to be a doctor? No, we got to work through it, man. You went to college for it. Ain't no joke. Everything is coming from the Lord. Even the knowledge. But we forget and we say, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And the more we identify ourselves with that, that blocks the development of humility. But we say it every single day. Unknowingly, we don't catch ourselves. Third, this is going to be a little surprising, fear. Fear blocks the development of humility. Now one may ask, fear? Why fear? Because fear creates an environment where we become combative and aggressive. We live in a crazy world. Yeah, there's fear out there. But we equate fear so much to our self-being that it makes us become aggressive and combative. That blocks humility. Aggressiveness and humility don't go together. It just doesn't. Because that's not our true nature. 4, envy. Big problem. Envy causes one to feel hostile to another. She has it. Man, I didn't get that. She got that quality. Man, how come I don't have that quality? We hear it every single day. He plays the mridanga. Man, I can't even play like that, man. How can he? How dare he plays better than me? Envy. It's very subtle. See, these are the subtle qualities that human nature, we don't catch it. She sings so well. Man, I can't sing like that. How dare. I want to sing like her. Envy. We focus so much on envying another person's quality that we forget what the Lord has given us. Envy blocks humility. Lust. I am the controller. It's all for me. I have to enjoy it. It's all for my enjoyment because I am satisfied. When I'm satisfied, I'm at peace. When I'm satisfied, I feel complete. When I'm satisfied, I feel good. Right? Because we want to be the controllers. We want to enjoy it because it makes us feel good. It's all about being the center of attraction. Lust. Anger. Big problem. If you notice, those who learn martial arts, how many of you have learned martial arts? Deep? So there is, if you look at the martial arts, fighters or warriors or whatever you want to call them, they don't get angry at that the first time. They are taught to control their anger. They only react when that is the last resort. But what do? We shoot the gun first. Before we think, okay, who do I shoot the gun at? Did I shoot at the tree or the person, right? We don't think. Right? So we shoot the gun first, as opposed to controlling our anger. Anger blocks humility. That's the reason why if you look at all these martial arts people, they don't react right away. They stay calm. They stay composed. They really observe the situation. They find other means before they attack. They are taught that. They are trained that. They are taught how to control anger, which we have to learn how to control anger. Because when anger arises, it clouds our vision, our thinking, our thoughts, many, many things. We get so clouded. How many of us have ever gotten angry and we're like, I can't think. I gotta get out and breathe. It's too crazy in my mind. I have. We got some saints here, man. Yeah. Yes, we all have gone through it. If we haven't, please tell me your tricks, because I would like to learn from you how you control anger, because I know I have. Can't handle it. We get clouded. Illusion. Illusion is a big problem. It's all about, it's for me. It's meant for me. It's all about me. Illusion blocks humility. Greed. Greed blocks humility. I want. You know, like when you take a child to an ice cream store, I use it example so many times. When there are 25 flavors, they go, I want. And you're like, come on, kid. Huh? Oh, you know, and they want all the flavors, and next thing you know, they have a tummy ache. Greed. I want. You know, I remember when my kids were small and I used to go to Walmart and get, you know, groceries or whatever, and I used to see the kids just throwing a tantrum in the middle of the aisle. I want. And the mother and the father get so tired, they're like, you know what, if giving you what you want is going to keep you quiet, I'll give it in. But guess what? They're giving one, but I want that. No, I want that. No, I want that. The greed goes on. We have to start training ourselves and our kids from young. Not everything you see you're going to get. From young, greed. Insecurity blocks humility. It forces us to react due to lack of balance and strength. When there's any disturbance, think of a moment in your life where there was some disturbance and you feel so unstable. Why? Because we felt insecure. When there's any disturbance and you're like, oh my God, I'm so unstable, I can't. Insecure. We have to come to the stage where even if someone is so rude to us, we say, let it go. Walk away. Don't get disturbed. That's a test, right? If someone says a harsh words towards us and we get naturally disturbed, that means we're insecure. We haven't learned how to, Haribol, walk away. It takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. I will tell you that right now. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of practice. Years. It takes years, sometimes decades. But it's possible because we have living examples around us to see that. Selfishness. We want because we want. It satisfies me. I want it. Selfishness, pride, thinking that we know everything. Very, very common, especially in our young people. I know it. I got it. They go to google.com, they go to Pinterest, that's their guru now. Google.com, Pinterest.com, what else? I don't know what else, websites, that's their guru, How do I overcome headache? Google. Ask your mom. She'll tell you how to get over a headache. You don't have to go to Pinterest and Google.com to get that answer, for God's sake. It's really sad. Today's young people, they find solutions to their problems online. Pathetic. Why are we there for? What are we, just walking doormats? You know what I'm saying? They have turned to Google.com and Pinterest and what have you to solve their problems. It's really sad. But we don't know wherever they're getting these answers online, is it valid or invalid? Is it safe or unsafe? I know it all. I know everything. And those who say, I know everything, they are the ones that have problem listening. They have a big problem listening. It blocks humility. And especially those who say, but you know what? I made myself who I am today. I worked hard. I put myself through college. I paid my expenses. I got the degree, but 6 hours of sleep for 4 years, or 4 hours of sleep for 4 years, or whatever. I did this. I. But we forget that all that knowledge came from some supreme source. It didn't just sprout from a tree. We have to get into the habit of always giving thanks to the Supreme who gave us what we are today. We sometimes forget to do that because we think we know it all. We think we are walking encyclopedias. We think we are google.com. We think we are pinterest.com or whatever you want to call it. But we forget that all that knowledge, even on google.com, all that knowledge was given by the Supreme Lord. It just didn't come from some tree and just, manifested. No. It came from somewhere. The Supreme Lord. Understanding that. That is humility. But all of that long list, can you imagine if we have all few of that, how much it's blocking our humility and tolerance? It's amazing. Now, humility is not passive. It's active. Okay? Humility is action. It involves action. It's not a passiveness. But what causes our inability, what is causing us to not access the potency of the holy name? What does that cause? And why don't we have the attraction to the holy name? Sometimes we try to find the answers outside. It's actually within us. In spiritual life, it is very, 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 very important. I find it very important to really do what I call self-awareness, self-introspection, reflection. When someone says this to me, why is it bothering me? What we do is when someone says something harsh to us, what do? What is the first thing we do? We got some saints here. Please give me, because I'm having that issue. Because I tend to retaliate. So when someone says something harsh, what do we do first? Say something back. We fight back. We retaliate. Because we can't take it. It hurts our ego. Man, you said that to me. You just hurt my ego. It hurts. Ow! Right? Rather than asking ourselves, why did that bother me? What is it that every time he or she says that, it's irking? It's irking me. It's bothering me. I want to retaliate. I want to fight. M16, AK-47, whatever you want to call it, right? We want to retaliate. Why? Rather than asking, why does it bother me? There's something that's bothering me. What is it? The more we do self-introspection, self-awareness, right? Reflection, we're working on ourselves to overcome that irk and say, so the next time when someone says, I'm like, Haribol, see you tomorrow. Done. Don't get affected. See, we cannot control the other person's actions, but we can control our actions. How we react. We cannot control the other person's actions. We can't. Because one is we're not the controller, the first thing. And we don't control, we don't own the other person. But we can control our actions, how we react, how we behave. We can say, okay, I want to be mad, retaliate. Oh, you know what? I'm going to step back and think, why is this bothering me? Self-introspection, it's so important. That's one thing that my spiritual master, Bhakti-tirtha Swami, drilled, Ajamul can attest to that, drilled through our heads and minds and souls. Check and examine ourselves. A very nice quote that I want to share from B.T. Swami, spiritualism and great power without humility will result in exploitation, manipulation, and abuse. Powerful. Spiritualism and great power without humility will result in exploitation, manipulation, and abuse. That's a wake-up call for us. So if we look at the verse, right? Lower than a straw in the street. What does that mean? Let's hear from you guys. What does that mean to you, lower than a straw in the street? Any thoughts? Or what does that mean to you? Yeah, but what? Humble is a very broad term. We can say humble, but what does it actually mean? What does lower than a straw in the street mean? Okay. What else? Okay. Getting there. We're getting there. We're very pretty close. Getting closer. Getting pretty close. Lower than the straw in the street, the phrase means one does not claim proprietorship, realizing that everything results from Krishna's blessings and mercy. So whenever we hear that word, lower than the straw in the street, it means I don't own anything. I'm not the owner of anything. The house we have, the 2 cars we have, the 2-car garage we have, the 62-inch TV we have, whatever we have now, we don't own anything. Because we come naked, we leave empty. That's the reality of life. But everything that we're getting is Krishna's blessings and mercy. Everything. That is lower than the straw in the street. Because, think about it. When there's a straw in the street, what happens to the straw when the wind comes? It blows away, right? It blows from the tree in Harrisburg. Probably in 5 hours, that same straw might be in Mechanicsburg. And next thing you know, it might end up in Lewistown. In a week or two, it might end up in State College. It's going everywhere. It doesn't own a place. The straw in the street doesn't stay on 6200 Bedford Street for the rest of its life. The straw that's standing outside might be in Hershey Park tomorrow. We don't know. It doesn't own anything. That straw has no proprietorship. That's what lower than a straw on the street mean. We don't claim proprietorship of anything because everything comes from Krishna. Tolerant, more tolerant than the tree. We say these terms like a parrot, but to understand it is very deep. More tolerant than the tree, what does that actually mean to any of you who would like to share something? Please. And doesn't complain. You're right, it doesn't complain. And the tree will never say, you know what, you've been so mean to me, I'm not going to give you shade today. Have you ever heard a tree talking to us and saying, you know what, you beat me yesterday, I'm not going to give you shade today. Get hot in the sun. No. The tree has never said that. Like Ajamil said, it takes everything, but it never refuses to give us. It gives and gives and gives and gives. When I before I became a devotee, before I joined ISKCON, when I first came to America, and where I come from, because there's no snow. So when I first came to America, a few days before Christmas, it snowed within a week. And you know, the first snow that comes outside, look at the tree, looks so beautiful, everything is white. It's like what you see in the movies, in the calendar. It's so pretty and so beautiful, lovely white snow. The tree looks so wonderful and blah, 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 blah. Like we just sit and take pictures and admire it. Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow, right? After I joined ISKCON, whenever I see snow on the tree, I feel so sorry. In fact, I stopped taking pictures. Why? Because there's a soul in that tree. It's shivering cold. Shivering cold. Every time I see a tree with no leaves, I feel so bad. Because I know there's a soul in there that is so cold. You know, standing, waiting to be liberated. And the trees, you know, the trees are there for like hundreds of years in that stuck. And here I think, oh wow, such a beautiful tree. Right? Tolerant than a tree. Humility means being that. Tolerant and still give. But humility does not mean being in denial or avoidance. That's a key thing. Humility does not mean that we have to be in denial, because in some situations we have to act aggressively. And why do we have to act aggressively? In the sense, we have to act aggressively for the well-being of others. The problem is sometimes when we see someone being hurt, what is the first thing that we do? Normal human nature. What do we do? That's what we do. and walk away. We don't, there's this, this monkey that they have, what, see no evil, what's that? Hear no evil, see no evil, speak, something like that. Yeah, yeah, so exactly. So when we see someone who is not being treated well, rather than going and helping them, what do? We walk away. Is that humility? Nope. It's not. But to us, it means it's humility. It means, no, I'm not going to get involved. Then if we're not going to get involved, then how are we humble? How are we Shishikonitai ki Bali Subhadra ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. If we are concerned over the other's well-being, we are going to go and stand up for them. Humility does not mean avoiding and being in denial. Humility means in some situations we have to act aggressively. Why? For the well-being of others. But unfortunately, we live in a material society where rather than thinking of the well-being of others, we say, nope, keep quiet, don't get involved, it's not your problem, just mind your own business, get in the car, let's go home. It's so true. We live in a society like that. And if we do that, we are not humble. Why? Because we don't care of the well-being of the other person. That's what that means. Because we don't care of the well-being of others, so we cannot say we are humble. We cannot say we are humble. I will tell you one incident without mentioning names. And a couple of devotees here will definitely know that situation. Many, many years ago, one devotee was doing service. And another devotee came and literally raised hell and shouted in front of, I think, 200 something devotees. This was like about 10, 15 years ago. A third devotee saw the incident. Out of love for the first devotee who was being yelled at, the third devotee ran in defense of the devotee who was being yelled at. Ran in defense. And why did the third devotee do that? Because he was concerned of the other devotee's well-being, stopping the other one from shouting to the other one. First, second, and third. First devotee was being shouted at, second devotee was shouting at the first devotee, and the third devotee came to rescue the situation. He could have said, you know what, those two guys are fighting, I ain't getting involved. It's too muddy. I'm going to walk away and mind my own business. He could have said that. He could have said that. But he did not. Because he cared for the other devotee. He came and said, nope. He rescued the second devotee and said, no, you can't do that. He's a devotee. In some situations, we have to act aggressively. Actually, I'm going to tell you who it is. It's Pritchard and Ajamil. These two devotees right there. And I'll never forget that day, how Ajamil went and stood by Pritchard's side. It's a beautiful scene, because I was there, but from a distance, and I saw it, and I said, wow, that's called humility. We have to act aggressively in some situations, because we care for the other person. Paying a blind eye and walking away is not humility. Very important point that we remember, because sometimes we have this understanding of humility very wrong. Very, very wrong. Because of that, the next question is, what do I do? Setting the example. Example is better than what, Jit Mitra? Exactly. That's his favorite phrase. That's why I pick on him. He likes that. Quote, example is better than precept. My mother tells me, practice makes perfect. We practice, we practice, we practice. We set the example. We be the example of what does it mean to be humble. What does it mean to be a true follower of tolerance? And the more we develop the understanding of thinking ourselves lower than the straw in the street, that is, we don't claim proprietorship. We start thinking we should be tolerant than a tree, just like the tree, right? Snow, winter, summer, winter, fall, spring, it gives, it gives, it gives. At the same time, we avoid false prestige. And if you look at the last line of that verse, right, it says, devoid of all sense of false prestige and should be ready to offer all respects to others. What does that mean? What we just said. If we respect the other devotee's well-being, we will go aggressively and stand. That means respecting the other devotee. Walking away means we don't respect that person. When we stand and say, no, you can't do that to this person. You can't do that to devotee. That's not how you speak to devotees. That is called, I respect that devotee. Very important point that we really understand what humility is and tolerance. Because sometimes we have a clouded understanding of what it actually means. And once we understand the actual meaning of humility and tolerance, only then will we be able to chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. But to get to that humble state, we have to work on all these obstacles, right? All the blocks in our lives, and to check ourselves and see, why am I having this issue? Why is it bothering me? Why is it irking me? Why is it getting under my skin, right? Why is it, taking my sleep away? It's about us. It's not the other person. It's us. And really understanding what it means to be a servant of the devotees. Sometimes we use the word das, anudas very loosely. But I like to use this example is whenever we think of das, anudas, servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Think of a housemaid. We all had at some point had servants in the house. I never grew up because in my country we never had servants in Singapore and Malaysia. But some of us had servants in our homes. When the house is on fire, does the servant run out of the house first or the boss runs out of the house first? It's always the boss of the house because the servant is saying, go, go, go. I'll make sure your house doesn't get burnt. The servant doesn't save himself. If you think about it, the servant is always there to protect the boss's house or the master's house or whatever you want to call it. So whenever we use the word das, anudas, we have to really think, wait, what does it mean to be a servant? Okay, let me imagine myself being a servant of, I don't know, some rich guy, whatever, right? Imagine ourselves being a servant of that house. And imagine being an employee servant of the house, and what's it like? We can't go tell the boss, you know what, you're not going to give me off? Okay, bye, see ya, peace out. No. We are at the boss's mercy. That is called servant. We are beggars. Servants mean we are beggars. Beggars are not choosers. Beggars cannot be choosers. But what happens is we live in a material society where we say I'm a beggar, but then in our minds we're like, yeah, right. Who said I'm a beggar? I want all this stuff. I have a house, I got 2 cars, I got 2 garages, blah, 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 all that long list. I'm not a beggar. No, we are beggars. In many shape, form, and manner, we are beggars. We are not and we can't be choosers. So it's really, really important that we really understand what is blocking that humility within our hearts. What is blocking that tolerance within our hearts, that we're not able to hear the holy name. My spiritual master, again, Ajmal and Prashik can testify to this, that every time, once in a while, he would tell us, we should chant with such purity that we can hear the flute of Krishna. Right, Ajmal? We can hear the flute of Krishna. Not imagination. Oh, I'm in euphoria. No. Really. We will never be able to hear that flute of the Lord until we get rid of all these obstacles. Until we are truly a servant of the servant. Until we seriously say, I love chanting. And we see it not as a chore, but as what I like to call it, a spiritual date with the Lord. Chanting is our time, is my date, my spiritual date with the Lord. Until we don't get to that stage, I'm not at that stage, I'll tell you, I'm still struggling. But that is where we have to get to. And if we are not at that level, we cannot say, oh, I am in this bhava. No. Forget the bhavas. Prabhupada said that is nonsense. Many, many years ago, this was in the old ISKCON days. If you ask any Prabhupada, we'll end with this. Prabhupada found out that there was a group of his disciples who started a group called Gopi Bhava. You heard that, Judgment? Gopi Bhava group. The news got a Prabhupada. He said, that's Maya. He says, what nonsense, Bhava? He says, learn to chant. No one is on any Bhava. That's nonsense. So close that group up. No. We are servants of the servants of the servants of the Lord. We are not of any bhavas to Krishna. We are das, anudas. Very important. And this is a very powerful verse that I really request devotees to really meditate on it. It's a very deep verse. It's very easy to parrot it in Sanskrit and English. It's very easy to say things like a parrot, theoretically. It's very easy. But to live it, it takes decades, sometimes lifetimes, not few years. It takes years because we got to clean that heart. That's why the first one is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. We have to clean the mirror of the heart. One time, how many of us have cleaned the window with Windex one time and it's clean for the next 55, 60 years? No. I have to Windex my mirror every week. I don't know about you guys. I have to wash my bathrooms every week. That's the dirt that's been cleaning our hearts. It's not just one time. Hare Krishna. Thank you. This is my realizations from my spiritual master's book. Powerful book. Reflections on the 8 prayers, the Śikṣāṣṭakam. Would like to ask any comments, any questions, any clarification. Please do ask. And it's nice that we have Parikshit. I don't know where he is. He was right here. Is he there? And Ajmal, 2 seniors. So it's nice to have them here. So any questions, any comments, any... If there's no comments and no questions, yes, Ajmal. Ajmal, you should be answering the question, not asking me a question, young man. Please, thank you. Wait, a mic is coming to you, young man. How do you do this?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class and bringing out so many wonderful points. And I was just reflecting on what you were saying about humility. And it's something that I've definitely have worked on and am still working on. And I was just reflecting on some of the points you made about to cultivate or to begin cultivating the ideal of becoming humble, there must be self-reflection. And that is, I think, the most important aspect, or I'm seeing that as such an important aspect. And, you know, we've just started a new year, and, you know, people take, you know, do those yearly resolutions or what have you, and that's really nice. But one thing that I'd say is that not only once a year, but what I've been working on personally is making a reflection every week. And actually, every day, just trying to analyze, how were my rounds today? Did I chant nice rounds? Or was I watching TV, or what was I doing? So when we take this ideal of looking at ourselves and not being the proprietor, because that's so important, taking that mood of being humble is like straw on the street, you know. And when we take that position, it really helps us to clear away this false ego, you know, and you know, I was just really hitting on that point and becoming more tolerant. You know, not being right all the time, even if you are right. That's not important. And I find too, you were saying about being the servant of the servant. I think about being a husband and being a father, you know, and simply being an employee, you know. How in my job, I work in the service industry, how can I utilize that idea of being a servant and serving well in such a way that people say, oh, he has a really nice mood. And not doing that for adoration, but doing it to cultivate and changing oneself, become more humble, you know. And I think for people who work in the service industry, it can be a lot easier to kind of take that mood, or, you know, like the client is always right. If we cultivate that, that is actually a very high principle in terms of trying to serve. So I just wanted to, that every day, but at least weekly, reassessing how am I doing with my reading? How am I doing with my chanting? How am I treating people? Have I been mean? You know, how can I rectify some of those things? So when we look at ourselves and look at what we're doing in our own personal practices and how we're treating, with any of my God brothers and sisters, you know, specifically, but any of my family, when they ask me to do something, I try and be that servant. Try and be like, how can I help out? And if you can't, then you say, I can't do it. Being honest, but also being very, how can we serve one another, you know, to be in that mood. So that's what I was getting, and that's what I got from Bhakti Tirtha Swami, who was an example of that particular idea. You know, he wasn't a doormat to anybody, but he also was very humble in his approach in teaching us. And when we can begin to embody those things, we can begin to understand, and then we can begin to chant more clearly. And that is the most important aspect of our, you know, devotion, to be able to chant clearly without being the proprietor, but understanding that we are just merely trying to serve. And, you know, that's all I got to say, but thank you very much for bringing, that's what I was hearing. So
thank you so much, Ajamil. I don't know how you turn this one on. I don't know. Can you do this one? I don't know how this one. Yes, thank you so much. And yes, self-reflection is very critical, like you said, in spiritual life. It's a science. It's not sentimentalism. And sometimes we think it's a sentimental thing. It's a science, cause and effect. Rather, because the human nature is very keen to saying, but you did this to me, you did this to me, as opposed to saying, like I said, what did I do to trigger that? Or why am I so affected by it? Because I know I can't change the other person's behavior, but how can I reflect on myself to clear that weeds? See, because we have so many weeds growing in our brains, in our mind. Now, imagine ourselves walking through a prairie of, a tall plantation with tall leaves. We're trying to find our way through it, right? And there are all these tall leaves, and we can't find our way. That's how our mind is. We have to pave the way through those tall weeds. We got to clear it so that if that happens, we can say, I'm not going to let it bother me. But it takes self-reflection. It's so important that we really do a lot of self-reflection, and like you said, weekly, daily would be good. My spiritual master used to always tell us before when we go to bed, 15 minutes before, think of your day. What did I do? Was it productive? What did I not do? Where did I go wrong? I remember this one time he gave a class. I forgot what the topic was, but sometimes when we get so angry, we're chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, that guy, man, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We are chanting and cussing that guy out. How dare he? Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Krishna. Man, he just kicked me. That rounds were messed up. Right? We all have gone through that stage. So how do we not contaminate our chanting with all those thoughts? We got to see, why is it bothering me? There's something that's bothering me, that's why. So self-reflection, like Ajamil said, is very, very, very needed every day, every week. Krishna consciousness is not it is not ritualistic. It is not, dogmatic. It is not theoretical. It's not theory. It's a science. It's practical. It is completely cause and effect. How we behave will determine how we react. It's cause and effect. Thank you. Beautiful sharing, Ajamil. Thank you so much. Any other takeaways? Any other questions? Any other comments? I was told that when there are no questions, that means either we were listening, or we were sleeping through the class, or we are saints. I know I'm not. So that's why I love this verse, because it's the most difficult. That's why I like it, because it's really powerful. It is all about cleaning our hearts and our minds, trying to pave that way so that we can really chant, crying out to the Lord. Because when we chant, we should be crying out like how a child cries for the mother. I haven't reached that spot. I don't know how many of I have not gotten that there. So if, and sometimes we think, oh, this must be a lifetime, a last life. When did we become Krishna? I've heard devotees say, this must be my last life. Whoa, so that means you are Krishna determining your future. Yeah, right. No, it doesn't work that way. That is mercy. We cannot tell Krishna, give me your mercy, give me your mercy. No. We have to earn the mercy. And how do we earn the mercy? Chanting. Chanting and hearing. And really looking at the chanting that it's our date with our Supreme Lord. It's me and, like we say, me time. Me time. Yeah, so this is me time with Krishna. No one's going to come bother my space. It's very, very important, Thank you so much. If there are no comments, if there is, we have about a couple of more minutes. Questions, comments, reflections, realization. And I actually request devotees, as often as we can, we should repeat the third verse at least once a day.
Hare Krishna.
Please.
There's one other thing I
Please,
wanted to make
Sajamil.
a comment about. you were talking about you hang out with drinkers, you want to drink. Hang out with smokers, you want to smoke. So hang out with chanters, and then you want to chant.
Yep.
And I've been cultivating that mindset, and like
Nice.
really one of the programs that we were doing for a while, Gita Nagari, we were doing a Saturday night get together and just chanting. So, the people that you hang out with,
Yeah.
try and bring them up, or hang out with people that are higher than you so that you can get from them, So be greedy in that way as much as possible, and hang out with people who want to know more about God. Listen to people who are talking about God, regardless of what tradition it is,
Yep.
We can get caught up in this, that, and the other and not realize that, that Christian doesn't really understand. But that Christian may be more of a devotee than you. So what can you get from that Christian, from that Muslim? Those are all designations that really don't mean anything. Who's bringing the truth? Who's bringing the juice? Who's bringing the gold? Who's bringing that mercy?
In fact, you just reminded me, because one of the obstacles is false ego, thinking I am more tolerant than you are because I am this, but you're not. It's like a put down, I think is what the young people call it. It's like, I'm this and you're there, so I'm better than you. But no, that's not the fact. And we should never, like you said, that Christian, that whoever might be better devotees than I am. Definitely. But we cannot judge the book by its cover. We cannot judge the book by its cover. That's something that we have to really work on. And like, as you were mentioning about chanting, I was remembering how we have online Bhagavatam classes. And every morning, Monday through Friday, we always see the same devotees always coming on to hear the class. Why? Because we have gotten the taste of hearing. The first of the 9 devotional process of service is what? Shravanam. Hearing. The more we hear, the more we get the taste. The more it opens our realization. We get, okay, now it's making sense. It adds up. The more we hear, and the more we hear in congregation, the more powerful it is. Because why? If I may not ask a question, Ajamal might ask a question that I didn't think of. But what he asked, like, oh yeah, wow, I learned something new today. That is why it's so important to learn and study the scriptures with a group of devotees, not single. And Prabhupada says it's actually very dangerous to learn his scripture by yourself, because we will create our own philosophy and understanding and misconceptions and so on and so forth. No, we need someone senior to us. That's why it's so important that when we read and study scriptures, chanting especially, we do it in congregational. Because the more we hear, the more we get the taste. That's why, but the thing is, Shravanam is the toughest. It's the top of the 9, but it's the toughest. Because why? We have one mouth. Should do the less work. This should do the more work. But unfortunately, it's the other way around. This is doing more work, and this is on retirement. Seriously, if you think about it. We run this one more, but this is like close shop. This should do more, and this should do less. Thank you, Ajamal. Thank you so much. Any other points? Last minute sharing, takeaways? Okay. I hope and pray that we have learned, because it's no questions and comments. Either that or we are afraid. This is not to scare anyone. It's actually a learning lesson for us to go deeper. It's a learning lesson for us to go deep, 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 deep. So because the deeper we go, the more, the deeper we get to the roots on the ground, we yank out the weeds. That's the whole idea. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. We'll get ready for Aarti. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatyadi Shatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura-bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura-bhakta-vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura-bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Bolo Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Baba to me. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gaur Premanande, Jaya Om Vishnupad, Paramhans, Privajikacharya, Stotra, Satashi Srimada's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Paramhans, Privajikacharya, Stotra, Satashi Srimada's Divine Grace, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananti Koti Vaishnavini Ki. Nanacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki. ISKCON founder Charya Shri Prabhupada Ki. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जगन्नाथ स्वामी की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Sipo Vaksha Sila Sankana Kalai Sila Sankana Kalai Ito na siya Parado na siya Ito na siya Tarasto na siya Yato yato yang itato na siya Ai Shingo Hirai Shingo Ai Shingo Hirai Shingo Nothing Avadi Saranam Sapadi Nothing Avadi Saranam Sapadi Avakara Kamarare Naka Avuta Sinya Alita Hiranyakasipu Anubringa Ishavarisa Naradirupa Jaya Jagadishari Jaya Jagadishari Jaya Jagadishari Jaya Natinare, 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 Jaya Natinare. Jaya Prahlad, 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 Jaya Prahlad. Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Nitya Gora Haribo, 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 Nitya Gora Haribo. Singh Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Nitya Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. We'll try that one more time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. I want to thank the devotees for coming out this evening on this bleak winter night, bleak winter evening. It's nice to see more and more coming back, more and more devotees coming back to the temple. In the midst of all this, what's crazy that's happening, the material society is going to get crazy. That ain't going to end. We just got to overcome it and then come closer to the Lord, because there's going to be a lot of excuses out there to have us not come. That's just how the material society is. So we just got to move forward and then come closer. A couple of announcements. One I would like to share with you is February 14th is what day? Hari Hari Bol. It's not only Valentine's Day. It falls on Valentine's Day. But the bliss is this year's Valentine's Day becomes even better, because it's the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, who is the brother of Lord Chaitanya. So it falls on a Monday, February 14th. We will have an evening program from 6 to 8:30 in the evening, and we will have Abhishek also. So we request devotees to please do block that evening out of your schedule, so that we can come and partake in the chanting of the holy name. That's what they came for, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and also in partaking the bathing ceremony of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya on that day. And because it's an auspicious day, we will be keeping the temple open longer. So it will be open from 12 o'clock noon till 8 o'clock, 8:30. Therefore, if any one of you inspired to come earlier to help do any service, or just come and just chant. You know, sometimes it's really nice to just come to the temple and just sit and just chant by Prabhupada and look at the deities. It's a very auspicious day to actually do extra service, extra chanting, extra reading. So it will open from 12 o'clock up until 8:30 on February 14th, February 14th, Monday. So please do block your calendars for that. March 17th, Thursday is Gaur Purnima. The appearance day, Gauranga, the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya. It will also be an evening program, so we're working out the details, so we will let you know. So please do block your calendars out. And March 5th, the city of Harrisburg is having their annual Ice and Fire Festival. And yes, the girls are excited. I hope the boys got their homework done. We have been asked by the city to do 2 performances on stage, and we will have a book table and a Harinam table, a book booth, and a Harinam booth. Tongue twister. So the girls will be doing a dance performance on the stage for the Ice and Fire Festival, and the boys will be doing a Mridanga presentation on that stage. We haven't gotten the times. I give them the time slot. We're still trying to finalize that. It'll be like around 1:30 in the afternoon. But we do need a lot of support from devotees on the book table and the Harinam table. So please, if you're able to keep your Saturday, March 5th open, please do come out and support us. It's a wonderful way to propagate the holy name to everyone, every soul that's in Harrisburg. And for this festival, they get about 10 to 20,000 people. So it's an opportune time for us to participate and share the holy name and just be one of us, so that we can just be ourselves and just give them the holy name and be friends and call it right. So please, if you need more details, please do come see me and we will share details, but definitely do try to support the book table and the Harinam table also. And of course, we will definitely need help to feed the hungry souls, meaning our devotees. So if anyone would like to offer prasadam while we have the devotees doing service, during the period, please do come see me also, so that we can make sure that our devotees are well fed while they are out there doing service for Srila Prabhupada. So that's one thing that we want to share with you. And lastly, as we all know, that we have been having very nice Bhagavatam classes in the morning, Monday through Friday, 8 to 9. For a little over 2 years now. We started 2020 Guru Purnima, and we're in 2022, Bhadra Purnima, and we are now in 2022, and it's very, very nice. We have been really relishing attending the Bhagavatam class every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 to 9. Now we have something else to keep you guys busy on the evenings. So February 7th, which is starting next Monday, we will have Bhagavad-Gita classes, what we call Bhagavad-Gita Circle. That will be from 6 to 6:30, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You will get to see the flyer coming out sometime this week. This week, and it'll have a Zoom. It'll be a Zoom link. So there'll be speakers, senior devotees, full of nectar. Again, they will read a verse. They will speak about it, and they will ask questions. And it's more like a reading program where they read one verse, and then we share, we discuss, we ask questions. 6 to 6:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That starts next week. So we have our morning taken care of. We have our evenings taken care of. So what we make between that, it all depends on us. That's the sandwich part, right? So that depends on how we get fructified in the morning. Then we go through our day. Then we get another dose, a booster shot in the evening at 6 o'clock. So please do mark your calendars for that. So that we're excited that we're having this program. I think it's nice. And they're going to be starting from Bhagavad-Gita first chapter. So it's going to be a very nice journey that we are walking through Bhagavatam and not to the Bhagavad-Gita. It's a wonderful, wonderful track that we're on. So you will see the links. You will see the ads coming out, and we request devotees to please do block your time so that it's just half an hour. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 or 6:30. That doesn't take that long. And it's on Zoom, so that shouldn't be a problem too. And before you leave, please do not forget your prasadam. It's downstairs, it's boxed, and please do see the deities. Did I miss anything else? I don't think so, right? Okay. If there are any other questions you have, you can definitely please do see me after the program. Until then, have a wonderful week. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva. Pita Pavanangaranita Jaya Narshingadev Jaya Narshingadev Narshingadev Jaya Narshingadev Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Do you want to sing in front of me? I'll take your phone. Unless anybody else wants to. What? Wait. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
A bhajan. But you gotta play harmonium. Okay. Here you go. Good job. I like the ending. Wait, are you bleeding? Bro, you're bleeding. Wow. Good job. Are you okay? No, that's fine. Are you okay though? I mean, look at it.
He sacrificed his life for the Lord.
Okay. But I don't know.
It hurts the next day, by the way.
My fingers are like white, but not.
Tomorrow.
Let me see.
The wet wipes are downstairs, right?
There's hand cream wipes. How about, we have them here.
Yeah, there's enough here.
It's gonna burn a little bit. It's gonna burn a bit. Good job.
You got band-aids?
Is it burning? Where's the bleeding from? Do you know? No, you're good.
Do you need band-aids?
There's band-aids in here.
Take out.
I think your fingers are really fine. That's the moisturizer. So you put cream on or Vaseline, or just put cream on. You got a little bit there. Oh, you got a lot. Wow. You got a lot. You went.
I don't know, you this spot and this spot. This one doesn't.
You got one right here. You got one right there. You got one right there. You got one. That's so many. No, it's no. Actually, I got it. All right. You got it. Thank you, though. But now, can you sing? Oh no, I'm just okay. Clean his hand. Is it burning still? He said it's not burning. He's got a thick skin. I'm gonna put this long, so let's see. Your bandage is on here. No. You can dry your hand real quick. Dry your hand like this. So like, let me know when it's dry. It's like 2 fingers. No, 3. Wait, you didn't tell us?
I just saw it now. That there's blood all over my back. But I couldn't tell if it was his or not.
No. I never bleed out of my back. I never go that hard. You're not leaving yet, so you have to sing. No, okay, fine. You sing until you I'll pick up after. Deal? Crap. Where's the other one? Yeah, okay, that was gonna be easier. Find another one. he just goes hard in general. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna use. But you need to. Yeah. See, Stuart also offered, but unfortunately, I don't want to do it. I don't. Did you clean it? What? Oh. But I want to do it. Well, you can do it, but just don't touch the black part. Okay? Yes. Okay. The last one. I have some brownies for you. Anisha. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe that. even sing, or should I say so?
Time to go. What?
You said 8. So why are you backing out of the singing? Okay.
Yo, Stephanie, you're singing. Don't even sing. Rindy? Sing. Huh? Sing. Sing. We're still singing? Sorry, guys.
I'll sing if you sing.
I'll sing with you.
No,
You guys have been here for quite a while. It's not too bad here.
Jaya Vrindavana, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana. Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana, Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana, Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana. Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana, Shri Govinda Gopinata Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana. Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana, Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana, Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavana, Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavana, Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavana, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana, Radhe Jaya Krishna, Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana, Govinda Gopinata Shri Gaita Bam Shri Baita Shakanana, Shikata Bam Shibata Dvadashakanana, Shinandana Dana Sava Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Nanda Jashoda Jaya Jaya Gopaka Oda Jaya Nanda Jashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagana Shridama Adi Jaya Vatsagana Shridama Adi Jaya Jaya Vatsagana Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Vrishabhanu Jaya Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Viranagari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Viranagari Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Jaya Jaya Gopeshwara Vrindavana Maja Jaya Jaya Gopeshwara Vrindavana Maja Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhata Dvija Raja Krishna Sakha Bata Dvija Raja Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Radhe Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Govinda Gopinata Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nandana Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nandana Bati Jasa Jana Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jana Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Vrinda Gopinata Naga Kanyagana Vijapati Jaya Kanyagana Jaya Dvijapatni Jaya Naga Kanyagana Dvijapatni Pakati Jahara Palo Govinda Charana Pakati Jahara Palo Govinda Charan Pakati Jahara Palo Govinda Charana Hara Palo Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Radhe Jaya Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Govinda Gopi Shira Samandala Jaya Jaya Radhe Shama Samandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shama Shira Samandala Jaya Jaya Radhe Shama Sandala Jaya Jaya Radha Jaya Rasa Lila Sarvamanorama Jaya Rasa Lila Sarvamanorama Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarvamanorama Jaya Rasa Lila Sarvamanorama Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarvarasa Sara Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarvarasa Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarvarasa Sar Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarvarasa Sar Palakiya Bhave Jaha Brajate Prachar Palakiya Bhave Jaha Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajate Prachar Brajate Prachar Jaya 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 Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Jaya Krishna Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Govinda Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smarana Shri Janava Pada Padma Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smarana Dina Krishna Dasa Koye Nama Sankirtana Krishna Dasa Koye Nama Sankirtana Dina Krishna Dasa Koye Nama Sankirtana Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohana Govinda Gopinata Madana Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Radhe Sham. Jaya Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi, Jaya Asta Sakhi, Bolo Radhe Radhe. Lita Sakhi, Jaya Vishaka Sakhi, Jaya Asta Sakhi, Bolo Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Shri Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Srila Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Ekachakradham, Nityananda Ram, Ekachakradham, Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Sachi Sutta Gaura Hari, Sachi Sutta Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. You sing it? You sing it. I'll be back there.
None of them are gonna sing. We're just gonna stare. Anyone? Anyone? Sing? Yeah.
Come on. It's Harinam Sankirtan. You guys just said no to Harinam
Yeah.
Sankirtan? I'll sing something. You can play. Okay, I got the first part of Udilo. I don't know, but it sounds very bad. No, I got the first part, that's it. No, that's all I can play though. What else is to play? No, then I'll give it to you. Like, it's so bad. Okay. But it's only the first, but I have not practiced that. I don't know, I don't have my phone though. Udilo Aruna. That's all I got. Ready? Ooh. It's the first paragraph. That's all I got. Fine. I'll sing. Give me, I have to practice. That's all I got. What? No. I'm pretty sure there's different. Yeah. Yeah, but okay. Okay. let me do this. I'm just gonna Udilo Aruna Purabhaje Nijamani Gaura Mani Jage. Udilo Aruna Purabhaje Nijamani Gaura Mani Jage. Aruna Purabhaje Nijamani Gaura Mani Jage. Bhakata Samuhaloye Sate Kelana Garabraje. Samuhaloye Sate Kelana Garabraje. Tatai Bhajaloko Gana Tahe Jajraro. Tatai Bhajaloko Gana Tahe Jajraro.
প্রেম দোলা দোলা সোনারঙ্গা চরণের উপর ভাজে দোলা দোলা সোনারঙ্গা চরণের উপর ভাজে প্রেম দোলা দোলা সোনারঙ্গা চরণের উপর ভাজে भाजे तेजमणि गौरा मणि जागे पूरा भाजे तेजमणि गौरा मणि जागे भक्त समूह लय साथे केल नागर ब्रजे समूह लय साथे केल नागर ब्रजे मुकुंद माधव यादव हरि बोले न बोलो रे वादन बोरी मुकुंद माधव हरि बोले न बोलो रे वादन हरि নিচে নিদে বসে গেল রাতি দিবস শাশিরা সাজে এমন দুর্লভ মানব কে হো मानव दे पाई के करो भावन के हो बिना भाजिले यशोदा सुत चरण पूरी बेलागे भाजिले यशोदा सुत दिल अरुणा पूरब भाजे तुझमणि गौरा मणि जागे अरुणा पूरब भाजे तुझमणि गौरा मणि जागे भक्त समूह लय साथे गेल नागर ब्रजे समूह लय साथे গরবজে উদিত তাপন হইলে আস্ত দিন গেল বলি হইবে ব্যস্ত হইবে ব্যস্ত দিন গেল বলি হইবে ব্যস্ত তবে কেনে কেনবে আলস হয় ना बाजे हृदय राजे रे आलस है ना बहे राजे ओ दिल अरुण पूरब भाजे निजमणि गौरा मणि जागे भक्त समूह लय साथे गेल नागर ब्रजे समूह जीवन अंत जनवसात तहे न विद विपद भार आनंद বিপরসান নামাশয়া করি যতন তুমি থাকো আপন কাজে করি প্রাণ তুমি থাকো না আপন কাজে ও দিল अरुणा पूरब भाजे तेजमणि गौरा मणि जागे अरुणा पूरब भाजे
भक्त समूह लोय साथ गेल नागर ब्रज जीवर्य काल्यान सधान गान जगत राशि मधुजनाम का जीवर्य काल्यान सधान गान जगत राशि मधुर्यनाम अविद्याति मिरातापन रूपे हृदय गगन भ्रजे तपन रूपे ओ दिल अरुण पूरब भाजे तेजमणि गौरमणि जागे अरुण पूरब भाजे तेजमणि गौरमणि जागे भगत समूह लोय साथे केल नागर ब्रजे भगत समूह लोय साथे केल नागर ब्रजे कृष्ण नाम शुद्ध कोर्यपान जर भक्ति विनोद प्राण नाम शुद्ध कोर्यपान जड़ भक्ति विनोद प्राण नाम बिना किछु नहीं को आर 14 भुवन माजे नाम बिना किछु नहीं को आर 14 भुवन माजे ओ दिल अरुण पूरब भाजे तेजमणि गौरमणि जागे भगत समूह लय साथ गेल नागर ब्रजे अरुण पूरब भाजे तेजमणि गौरमणि जागे तेजमणि गौरमणि जागे पूरब भाजे तेजमणि गौरमणि जागे जय गौरचंद्र 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 जय गौरचंद्र 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 जय गौरचंद्र जय सचिसुत जय गौर हरि सचिसुत जय गौर हरि गौर हरि गौर 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 हरि जय भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जय भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर जय प्रभुपदा 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 श्रीला प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेव जय श्रीला गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय श्रीला गुरुदेव जय इंद्र प्रभु इंद्र प्रभु इंद्र प्रभु जय इंद्र प्रभु इंद्र प्रभु इंद्र प्रभु इंद्र प्रभु जय जय गौर हरि
Gauda Hari. Jaya Harinam Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan. Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Vrindavana Dham ki jai. Now it's your turn to sing, Roheen. Why not? Yeah. You haven't done anything. My voice, my. No. It still comes to you. When does that happen? You said it's Spider-Man? Doctor Strange? Oh, the first movie? And who says that? Oh, that guy. Oh, I haven't watched the movie in a while. I don't remember that. But I remember that guy though. He was last, right? The guy who helps Doctor Strange find Kamataji for some stuff. On time to do Kirtan? Always on time to do Kirtan. Okay, then sit down. Sit down. No, bruh. I'll go to Shurpa, but may I please hear your beautiful voice? No, I would like to hear your beautiful voice. I already sang, you missed it. No, I want to hear, Hari Hari Bo. Is no one else going to sing?